Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy, and this is for October 5th. So, welcome to Soulprint. I have many new subscribers, so I want to welcome each and every one of you. I hope you enjoy the Soulprint community that we have here. And of course, for my established subscribers, I adore you. For those of you who maybe for some reason have not seen, on Saturday, um, Sheila from Celtic Tarot and I got together and we did a video, what was a live stream on Saturday evening. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, go look for it. You can either go on her page and it'll show up in the playlist, or you can go to my page and go into community, and there's a link there. So, here we go, right? Okay, so we're at the first full week of October. A whole bunch of new polls came out, and Trump is tanking badly. Joe Biden trounced him in terms of the debate. Even where Trump was leading, where people thought he would be better for the economy, Biden, the one I saw has him leading Trump 48 to 41. Considering last week or the week before, Trump, that was one of the places that he was actually solidly, consistently above Biden. It's never made any sense to me, but hey. So, and he's in the hospital. They're saying that, he might be able to be released like today or tomorrow. And then other reports say, no, it's going to be at least a week. And some reports say he's doing great. And other reports are saying his oxygen levels dropped. And that's a big concern. So, you know what? This is the thing. Are we going to get the straight goods? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. But does that stop me from wanting to do a bit of a deep dive into what this week holds for Trump? So that would be from what, like October 4th to 10th, maybe? All right, come on down, because I have a question. All right, here we go. Okay, so Trump this week, Trump this week, Trump this week. The the vice presidential debate is on the 7th, and we have Eric Trump needing to testify this week. I'm thinking Trump might be having a difficult week. Okay, so for those of you new to my channel, the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords are my two signifiers for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So Joe Biden is sitting front and center in Trump's reading. So the poll numbers, the latest stats, the fact that his behavior at the debate, all of that is conspiring and compiling to just make Trump incredibly agitated, not to mention the fact that he's sick, and that is going to play into, but I'm strong and I'm invincible. So that story's not going to hold. So part of what we're going to see this week from Trump is some sort of two sides of the same coin kind of behavior. And whether that's from Trump exclusively or Trump world, I'm not sure. But what you're going to get is exactly what we have been getting. He's fine. Oxygen, levels are dropping. He can leave tomorrow. He's not leaving for a week. It's going to be a lot more of that because there's absolutely no transparency. And the more that goes on, even though Joe Biden has pulled sort of those, I think they're called contrast ads, so negative advertising, even though the Biden camp has pulled that in view of Trump's illness. Although, come on, you know what? The Republicans would never, ever do that. But, you know, trust me, we don't want to be like Republicans, right? Okay. Um, it's not, everything really feels as if it's just conspiring against Trump this week. Things are not going to go the way he wants them to. And it looks like more and more he is actually starting to look for a bit more. I want to say he's trying to solidify perhaps his escape plan, or maybe he's trying to solidify, or he's waiting for help coming in from foreign actors or from outside sources. But he's definitely, it feels like he's sort of like stuck. He's in a state of stuck. So not only has he been pulled, off the trails, and he's not going to be back on that trail for a couple of weeks. Um, and the polls are terrible. And there is a vice presidential debate coming along, and I don't think that's going to go so well for Pence. And so this week feels very much like that drip, drip, drip that we expect October to be. But this week, it feels sort of a little bit more intense than that, and he is not handling it well. Okay, he's not handling it well. The last thing this guy wants is time to reflect, time to be quiet, and still. I do not know anything about Trump's health record over the course of his lifetime, except, of course, for the bone spurs. But you never hear of him suffering any sort of significant or kind of incapacitating illness, even if it's for a short duration. So one of the things that is Trumpy about Trump is that he don't like to be still, right? He just needs to perpetually keep moving, and he needs to, and maybe that's mental, maybe not so much physical, but there is a sense that he is not capable or able or comfortable to sit still with his own thoughts. And that's what illness causes everyone to do. It's not exclusive to him. The problem is that's a really uncomfortable place for him to be. And so he reacts by being very, very agitated. He reacts by behaving, frankly, in emotionally childish ways. Okay. So we had the two of ones, now we have the three of ones sitting here again, he's looking for help from the outside. And I don't know who the outside is. I don't know if it's within his administration, whatever, but he is, as this is going on, as this is transpiring, there's a part of him that is like, okay, great, this could actually be my way to get out of Dodge. And not go through the humiliations. And I think as more polls come out this week, that kind of energy of, wow, this really, really doesn't look good for me, and I'm not so sure I can pull it off, especially because the people who were helping with the campaign, like that campaign manager and like Chris Christie, and a bunch of other Hope Hicks, they will come down with corona. Sorry, the COVID. Sometimes people refer to it as the beer virus, and I guess the corona stuck in my head. COVID. So he doesn't have, some of that sort of inner sanctum is very wobbly right now. There's big gaps and holes in it. But he, as usual, in typical Trump fashion, is looking for somebody to bail his butt out. Okay, he's not actually trying to figure out how to solve his problems. He's just relegating it and demanding that people figure it out. But there definitely seems to be something going on behind the scenes in terms of money, legacies, assets. And I think what you're going to see is more news, even more news coming out about the family's money, his money, business relationships, tax information, all things connected to Trump, the Trump legacy, the Trump family, money. All of those could be part and parcel of some of the additional information that you can expect this week. So you have the devil and you have the star card. So, and there you have the walking away card. Okay, so literally the star cannot balance these two out. In fact, if anything, it's inverted, right? His dream is dissipating, it's vanishing, kind of in front of his very eyes, and he doesn't seem to know, and frankly, neither do the people around him seem to know exactly how to pump a brake. They don't know how to pivot because they backed themselves into this ridiculous, ridiculous corner, and Trump now has virtually no options but to play the card he finds himself with. Lindsey Graham was in a debate. Talk about a digression. Lindsey Graham was in a debate with that Jamie Harrison in South Carolina. They are currently neck in neck. This is Lindsey Graham's seat. He's had it for forever. And for the fact that they are hand in hand or neck and neck. Now, I just saw a little bit of a clip from that debate, and Jamie was just hammering Lindsay about what good is your word? You have it on tape. You wouldn't do this with the nomination of another judge, and yet here you stand pushing for that. If anybody is in South Carolina and happen to have watched that debate, do you want to send me like just a couple of lines, even in comments, and let me know how that went and sort of what the local reaction is, because it definitely looked, from what little bit I saw, that Jamie had that debate handily in hand. So again, more and more, Trump is getting information that just does not indicate that there's going to be some, happy, wonderful news coming down the pike in terms of what his days, weeks, and months forward look like. Again, anticipate that kind of behavior that is Trump, right? The out of control, that says whatever he wants, he's lashing out. And now, on top of everything else, he feels trapped. He feels trapped by the stories, by the spin, by the illness, by senators who were dropping like flakes, to all of it. He's watching all of it just crumble. His key people are not around him right now. And nobody, I've got to say, nobody frankly is swayed, if you will, by some of the pictures that are getting tweeted out. He's looking at papers, he's behind the desk, he has a suit jacket on, Anybody who has ever, I don't know, have a phone with a camera, have a real camera, knows exactly how easy it is to change what looks to be the situation, right? So it doesn't take a long time to sit down at a desk and have a couple of pictures taken, and then take your jacket off, have some more pictures taken at a different location, whatever it is. Nobody is buying this, okay? Nobody's buying it, because the doctors say one thing, his administration says something else. So he has a lot of feminine energy around him. Like, I'm actually not reading this specifically as these specific cards, as I just am reading really feminine energy, except of course for the King of Wands there. But it feels again like this week could present some kind of difficulties or problems coming from females, from that energy. So whether, Kamala really goes after him during the debate and Pence can't defend him, whether suburban women it becomes even more apparent that they're kind of done with this nonsense and they're not going to put up with it anymore. He did so much damage to himself on that debate. And the fact that it's now coming out that during that debate, as he was going to that debate, he apparently was already showing symptoms. People are not going to respond well to that, especially people who are concerned about their health. They're concerned about how to afford their, health issues or concerns. This is not going to sit well with him. That he did a fundraiser, he did that debate. He was not feeling good. He kept that a big secret. And now look at all the people who have been, exposed. So yeah, it just feels like there's going to be some feminine kind of stuff swirling around him. So anything having to do with females, whether it is a district attorney, whether it is somebody who is accusing him of something, whether it is just lawyers coming after him. But whatever it is, it just doesn't feel like that kind of feminine energy is going to be working with him at all this week. It really looks like it's almost going to conspire against him, unfortunately. Yeah. So this change of fortune, this last 10 days, not even that long. I mean, let's not even talk about the last 6 months and the COVID disaster and the whole, very fine people on both sides. Let's sort of just put that on hold for a second. Just the last week or so, if you think back to where we were last Monday in anticipation of the debate and where we are now, the debate was a disaster. Him and his inner circle, for the most part, have come down with COVID. Um, he is hospitalized. That is, I don't care how many pictures they send out, that puts him sort of in a weakened position, just optically, considering he, had nothing but horrible things to say about Joe and his bad health and how weak he was. And there we have it. And speaking of which, so far, keep your fingers crossed. I have not seen Biden testing positive, but we will give it a couple more days to just make sure. And of course, Biden, being transparent, is going to be releasing him and Harris are going to be releasing every single one of the results from their COVID tests. But the change of fortune is really going to create a situation and an environment where the things that they were the Trump family, and even some of his hanger-ons, what they were hoping for, what they were looking for, the Wheel of Fortune, frankly, is just sort of taking that away, because you really, really have Trump's behavior has just not been presidential. It's just not been what people are looking for during this really, really difficult time, not only in the United States, but globally. So it doesn't look like this is going to serve him all that well. It just feels like sort of another, nail in the coffin, if you will. Yeah, they're not going to be able to get their messaging straight. They're just not. It's going to be, the more they try to spin a message, the more information comes out that is not reflecting well. And this is interesting. This little Six of Wands here. Yeah, hang on here. Let me see what else I can get. Yeah. Okay. So what this six, because this is normally a victory card, right? And it actually represents that this time too. The difference is that the people around him are working incredibly hard to ensure that the message Trump receives is, it just reflects really well on Trump, okay? Because they don't want to piss him off. They don't want to agitate him. And he is sick, whatever's going on with him. And so, you don't want to be kind of going after somebody when they're already kind of down on their knees. But they're going to be sort of telling him stuff that may not kind of be necessarily true exactly, but they're trying to keep his spirits up and they're trying to keep him really motivated to sort of, stay in the campaign and stay active. But understand behind the scenes, he's doing a lot of thinking about, do I really need this? Maybe this would be a good reason. And I did say that there was only going to be one debate, and I maintain that there is only going to be one debate. He's going to use this, and I want to say it's an excuse, but honestly, it really is a reason. Nobody wants to be around him because he is sick and contagious, and he's already proven and shown that he has absolutely no respect, none, not one iota, for anybody else's health. He has no concern for them. And so who's going to want to be around him knowing that he could care less if he exposes them to whatever that is? But they're trying to keep him in the dark, right? They're trying to keep him so that he doesn't sort of realize how bad it is. Unfortunately, you're talking about a man who spends a ridiculous amount of time watching cable news. So again, it's not like he doesn't hear the stuff, but it's like the people around him are doing what they need to do to keep him very, very focused on moving forward. Because honestly, at this point, this is more about the down ballot races as far as the Republicans are concerned at this point. They haven't washed their hands of Trump, but there's sort of this energy about, listen, we've got all that we're going to get out of this situation. His behavior is making it more and more difficult for us. Nobody believes anything we say anymore. And so the focus now is on the down ballot races. The people in Trump's election campaign, yeah, they're focused on getting him a win. But the RNC, the Republicans, the GOPs, how many names does one party need? Anyways, they're kind of like, yeah, you know what? All we can hope to do at this point is find some kind of balance so that maybe we also don't get kicked to the curb along with him. There's a lot of understanding that justice is coming, and when justice comes, it sort of cuts a wide swath. And some of those people who are up for re-election are really starting to get panicky about the fact that they very well may get like plowed under. And so there is now a feeling, I'm stepping into the energy, and it really does feel like more and more people might be saying kind of stuff in front of cameras, although I notice that nobody has a lot to say. But they're really not supporting him even the way they were a couple of weeks ago. And it's not the COVID that's making them back down, although they're really, really aware of the fact that for somebody who denied it for 6 months and minimized it, the irony of the fact that he has it and is in a hospital is a little bit too hard to ignore. So they are aware of the fact that the optics are terrible, but even more than that, it was the debate that really, really got some of these Republicans just in a right tizzy because they're looking at their fortunes being affected by his behavior. And you know what? It was one thing when his behavior was increasing their fortunes. It's not doing that anymore. It's not. Their time in government is being scrutinized, and a lot of the down ballot people are not doing well. And I have to say that extends not only to senators and House members. It also applies to like governors and state legislation, all kinds of stuff. There's going to be these sort of, in some cases, almost seismic shifts. And as that polling information continues to come out and come out over the next 30 days, you can just imagine how much worse the news is going to get for not only Trump, but for those Republicans. I don't see um, the situation Trump is in any way creating sort of like a sympathy vote or a compassion vote, because again, the irony is so in your face. I mean, truly, somebody should hang a sign around Trump's neck, like flashing lights that just says karma's a bitch. Yeah. So, honestly, stuff is just going to keep coming out this week. You can anticipate that. You can anticipate some, like, I want to say, overreactions in terms of emotional responses. And while that may very well come from Trump, although that happens every, day that ends with a Y, it's starting to feel like some of the people around him are getting testy because, let's face it, he put all of them at risk. And the bottom line is they didn't get the benefit of hooking their star to him. And as the weeks unfold, I don't see where it's going to get better. What you're going to see is more and more illumination about more and more people who frankly are like mercenaries, who do whatever they want to do because it suits them, it suits their political agenda. They don't care anymore who they have sold their soul to. Well, that's okay, except there's a bunch of people in the United States, they're called voters, and they have something to say about it. Energetically, I just can't help but feel that this is going to be a really, really difficult week for Trump. It feels like he's going to be getting a lot of information that he doesn't want to hear. There's going to be more money information comes out. And listen, because this is represented by the Page of Pentacles, they don't have the money they want people to think they have. I'm talking about the campaign, never mind Trump's personally, because they don't have anywhere near what they told people they had. But it looks like the campaign is going to run out of money. There's going to be more interference from partnerships, foreign actors, especially be so careful about the stuff you are picking up on social media, because I've said this before and it bears repeating. While Putin loved having Trump in office because he was so malleable, his real purpose was about creating so much discord and confusion and even anger about the election. He's trying to prove that, democracy is bad, it doesn't work. So it's not impossible to think that disinformation could actually be coming on both sides of the equation from Putin. You certainly got it coming from China. And so, it's kind of a sense of those he anticipated to be near him to help him. I don't see that support there. And you not only, them, I mean, we're talking about donors. We're talking about, people who are working for him, people who are, whether they're volunteers or whatever. There is now a very crystal clear realization that this guy doesn't give a damn about anybody himself. And, some people tend to get a little offended by that. Yeah. So it's sort of like, This is one of my cards for Trump for those of you who are new and maybe don't know. The King of Pentacles and the Fool card both represent Trump for me. A lot of difficult news coming this week. I don't know what's going on, but man, oh man, he is not going to be able to get himself clear to get himself back in to a position, I want to say sort of strength. Okay, I'm going to be wanting to do, hopefully I remember and nothing derails it. I'm going to be wanting to take a look at, I'm going to be doing October, and hopefully I will be doing the entire month of October. Hopefully that'll come out on Wednesday. But it just energetically, it feels like this is going to be a very difficult week. I'm stepping straight into Trump's energy. He is very fatigued. I'm getting sort of headachy. I'm achy. Achy is really, it's not specific to the head. It just feels achy. Exactly kind of like you feel when you get the flu, right? But there's just tired. There's a little bit of problem breathing. And additionally, you're dealing with somebody who just can't tolerate being sick. I don't think it happens to him very often, and I really don't think he's very good at it. And so it feels like, in some ways, his own anxieties, his own stress, um, is contributing in a way that is not necessarily helpful for a speedier recovery. I do think that he's going to get moved from Walter Reed back to the White House and back into that hospital that's situated within the White House, or infirmary or whatever they call that place. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be an interesting week. A lot of misinformation, whether that is coming from his doctors, the administration, or social media. Be extra, extra, extra careful about what you actually, believe. Look at it objectively. Does it make sense? Okay, I think that's everything for right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here at Soulprint. I'm just delighted that each and every one of you are spending some time. I humbly thank you, and I'll see you again on Wednesday. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.